אמא שלי היא רבה רפורמית. כששמעתי מאמא שהיא נוסעת לשם, הרגשתי שזו הזדמנות מיוחדת עבורי להצטרף אליה. אולי גם להתקרב.
Practice of Judaism in these African countries, it's very heartwarming to see people practicing things that make them happy. And one of the more heartbreaking things in this documentary was closer to the end, where they touch on the fact that there was a lot of persecution and they were essentially being hunted for what they believed in. And I find that very heartbreaking, because I believe you should be able to follow any practice that you believe in that makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone else with said practice. I believe everyone has that right to believe in whichever religion they so choose.
The content, the theme, topic depict themes of international relationships and friendships, and more importantly, religion and faith, and how, in its true form, it's supposed to connect people of all nations under God, which is evident in this documentary. I like the casting and the characters and how that they interact with one another, especially the main character with the other sub-main characters. I like how they depict the sacredness of Judaism and the customs and practices, and indicating what that process can look like, especially in a seemingly strange context like Africa against a Eastern religion, and ultimately seeing that there is no big difference because in accordance to God, God is for everyone. So I think it's a very powerful documentary. I love how we were taken through everything very well, and I like how the main subject took us through the story.
It's just interesting to go in depth into Uganda. We've always heard and seen a lot about Idi Amin and that history, but not a lot else. And so seeing a lot of local folks talking about religion, talking about Judaism, it was very, very interesting and a first time. It was also interesting to see the history about, Idi Amin's oppression and how the faith suffered because of it. This was a really nicely done piece, a very good topic. Like I said, very original. Probably might not be any much more out there. This is, contributing to kind of an early contribution to a body that needs to be built up. We need to learn more about this.
I have never seen anything or read anything about Judaism in Africa and Uganda. So I think, first of all, you caught my attention with that because it's something that I genuinely know nothing about. So I think off the bat, and hearing the history of this and hearing these stories of these different individuals and the history of Judaism dating back, I think it's not only is it interesting, but I think it needs to be shared because I'm sure there are many more that are unaware of this. I think a really interesting topic. I think factually speaking, it was really, really interesting. There's a great history to it. You had a lot of great talking heads throughout this piece. And it came together to just be really informative and just really interesting and lovely to watch.
The film is both educational and emotional. The educational part is mostly related to the discovery of this Jewish community, which I had in Uganda, which I had no idea existed, neither the filmmaker actually. And we also discovered the stories of the people within this community and the history of this community. The emotional part is related also to the stories that are told, as well as the relationship between the daughter of the rabbi, the filmmaker, and the rabbi herself. In fact, the narrator talks about how when she was young, she kind of got a bit more distant from religion, and this trip was an opportunity for her to spend time with her mother. I think the movie is very delicately done.
Footage that they were able to get was so beautiful of, this village, of these people getting to tell parts of their story and just show how far spread religion really is, and the kind of reach. And it might look different in different places, but the core values are still the same, and it really does translate through languages, through cultures, and it really can help transform people's lives. And I really, really liked that. I thought it was really beautiful. And, I think when you're being able to be exposed to such different cultures, and whether that's through documentaries or shows or, anything of the sort, being able to see it in any kind of way, I think is such a valuable thing. And so being able to take something that most people have some level of comfort with, like religion. You might believe in a different type of religion or, something like that. Even if you're not religious personally, you probably still have some sort of experience, some sort of exposure to religion in general. And so being able to take that kind of base knowledge, but apply it to a culture in a country that most of us have never been to, or, not really gotten a big exposure to, and seeing how it looks, how some things are the same and some things manifest a little bit differently. But like I said, the core values, the core things that people take away from it are still there. The community, the togetherness, the worship, all of these things are still there. They're still present.
This documentary shows how much these people care about their land, how their climate, how they use God to really help the way they live. It's absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed this because it was educational to learn about how they are obsessed about continuing to practice the Shabbat, where there's a lot of people, Christians, Jews, Muslims, who come to the Western world and they don't really observe their Sabbaths, where they rest for all day like we used to. So it's really good to see that some people are still observing and practicing their religion as it's written, because a lot of people don't, as they get accustomed to man's world. And these people seem to very much still live within God's world, preserving his climate, his land. And that makes them very wonderful people, and it was great learning their story.